Well, today I'm out back putting the last finishing touches on a couple of my bow hunting stands, and I wanted to share this with you guys, just show you kind of the areas that I hunt in and what makes these couple spots particularly so good. And the focus of this is really on alder swamps. You guys have probably seen in a lot of my B-roll and trail cam photos, a lot of the backdrops to a lot of the biggest daylight bucks that I get have alder swamp behind them or near or in the photo. So that's where I'm at today. You can see behind me, there's actually, I started filming this and actually realized that big clump right there is a diamond willow clump, but I'm down on the edge of a big alder swamp up here in north central Minnesota, and there's some private land up to the north where they got crop fields every year, and it varies what they plant in there. But there's always deer around there, and like driving from the gravel roads, you can always see those fields are full of does, and you know, whether it's beans or corn or whatever it is. And so I'm on the backside of those fields out in the alder swamp area on the public land, and there's a big land mass this way kind of behind the camera, and then behind me this way is this vast alder swamp. This is really a cool corner because you know, I've kind of been working my way down this edge over the years. I've hunted this area and had some really nice buck encounters in here, but I'll show you guys some of these trails. I don't know if you can see it over my shoulder, but there's a deer trail coming in right here. You know, this time of year, it's August 30th, I think today. They don't look like much back in these areas, but this is the time of year when I like to get all my, if I'm gonna prune lanes or get my cameras set, that's what I'm doing today. And then I get out of these areas and stay out of here. But these trails, like this one behind me here, this will get a lot of use come as we progress into the fall, and these bucks, like right now, they're starting to shed velvet. Already got a couple nice hardhorn bucks on camera, but as they shed velvet, some of them shift and move around. Not all of them, but as they're doing that, spots like this, where these trails are funneling out into this alder swamp, these are going to get better and better. And meanwhile, I'll let all my scent wash away. I'll let all this, my camera, my stand, whatever I've done back here walking around, I get it all set and then get out of here and stay out of here. And then just kind of give it time, let things cool down, progress into the fall. I'm gonna go take a walk back here and kind of show you guys how these trails are funneling into this high ground ridge behind me. They're coming up out of the swamp, and there's an area here where there's kind of a confluence of them. You can see this deer trail runs kind of right there. To the right is the high ground ridge, and this is kind of a middle-aged, middle-growth clear cut. As we pan back left, here's that deer trail running the edge of the ridge. And then if we pan back this way, there's a trail running right here. It doesn't look like much on the camera, but it's there. And so they're coming out of, that's the big alder swamp out there, kind of runs all this way. And they're coming up out of here and coming onto the high ground ridge. And these trails all funnel back into those crop fields back that way. Okay, this trail that I'm on keeps going this way. And right behind this wall of willows and alders, there's kind of this subtle little high ground ridge that comes out of the swamp. And I'm going back to that little subtle, it's really not a ridge, it's just this little subtle swamp island that's got just something a little bit different. There's maybe 1 foot of contour difference, like 1 foot higher. So it's got a lot of high ground, diamond willow, and then it's surrounded by the alder swamp around us. And I'm actually seeing a little bit of hazel brush in here. And there's even I don't know, it looks like a bomb-gilead tree, but let's go check this out. Well, I just got into the center of this subtle little swamp island out here in the alder swamp. There's great big diamond willow clumps in here. And I actually just came upon a deer bed right here. So this is definitely a spot where I could see those oldest age class bucks in this area bedding back in here. I hate to even be back in here right now doing this because I'm all sweaty and stinky, but I think it's early enough before when when I'm going to be hunting in these areas, that I'm going to get everything set now and then get the heck out of here. But I'll show you guys these beds. Sorry for the brief interruption, but winter's almost here. And if you're someone who has young trees on your property that you need to protect from deer browse, you should check these out. They're called browse blockers. You just grab the top growth candle and branch whorl of the tree like this to pull the browse blocker over it. You clip it on, then you leave it like this through fall, winter, and spring. After spring green up, take the net and clip off and save them, because you can use them multiple seasons as this tree grows taller. This tree won't get browsed as long as this net is on it. If this is something that you think could help you out this year, you can check them out at browseblocker.com. And when you go to check out, say that you saw this on YouTube, and my dad will throw in 10 free browse blockers and clips on top of whatever you order. This is kind of a big bed area right here. Nice and shady in here. Little bit different vegetation. Once we get onto this little rise, you can see how thick it is in here. I mean, it is super, super thick, and we're surrounded by alder swamp right now. So this is the kind of area, and there's a few of these little blobs out here. So these are, in my mind, the kind of little swamp islands that these oldest age class bucks are coming out of as they go towards those does back to the north on the private land. And then they're also using these little subtle swamp islands. There's trails coming in and out of this. They're using these as their highways to get from land mass to land mass as they navigate through this swamp. Check this out. Great big historic rub right there. It's a couple years old, but right next to, so here's this big old rub on an alder, and that bed is right back there. This is definitely a good spot, and this gives me a ton of confidence right now on where I've got my deer stand hung. Might even be another bed right here. Vegetation's kind of flattened out. Sometimes the bear can fool you, and black bear will flatten out areas of grass in these swampy areas, but seeing what I'm seeing, and I believe those are deer beds that I found right back there. So my stand is back kind of on the seam of this swamp, where a lot of these trails are kind of funneling out of stuff like this, and they're going through the alder swamp and towards the high ground, the mainland, back where the doe zone is off to the north. So I don't know that it's worth getting back in here to a spot like this, unless there was, if you had evidence that there was a big one bedding right in here, then, maybe a guy would want to hunt this. But a lot of these spots are probably sit empty for great periods of time. So I would rather try to target these deer as they're filtering out of these spots, kind of going towards where that high ground makes a point, and these trails are funneling up into that high ground area. Well, I'm going to get a camera out on this swamp island. It's actually not exactly where my stand is, but that's okay. I typically don't like to have a camera right at my bow stand, just in case that big buck, if a 4, 5, 6-year-old buck that's in heavily pressured public land sees your trail camera, I don't know if there's any way to prove it or not, but it just makes me nervous. And so what I do is I try to get my cameras up high. I did start using these Tacticams. This is the Reveal Pro, this one, but I bought these with my own money. I don't get paid to say that. I just like them. But anyways, I'm going to get this one out and get it away from my deer stand just a little bit, just in case that big 5-year-old buck sees the LEDs somehow. I think I probably got my best chance with these Tacticams. That's why I'm switching over to these. But I'm still really careful with them. I just don't want to educate something during the season, or even a big doe for that matter, on heavily pressured public land. If you're on private land over a food plot or something, I don't know if it matters so much, these trail cams, but it just makes me nervous on heavily hunted public land. So I'm going to get a couple of these out around my deer stand here in this area. I'll be able to kind of monitor things throughout the fall. And, if things start looking good, and then I know they're in here and it's time to move in. But, yeah, I wanted to show you guys kind of my setup here back in this area. These are the kind of areas I'm targeting, whether it's gun hunting, bow hunting, and I know it's the same as a willow swamp. Around here we have a lot of alders and diamond willow in this area I'm in, but other guys around the state, like red willow and things like that, it's all the same. It's that low, swampy, thick, nasty area where no humans go. And this is where I've historically found the biggest bucks. So If you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. That helps me out. Think about hitting the thumbs up if you'd like to do that. I appreciate any support from you guys. Get out there, get your stands ready. Season's coming fast. Time to get the last finishing touches on everything. So drop me a comment down below if you got any cool stories or anything, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.